We are live. Magic Will Middleton and Kurt Tada. We're here to do all kinds of awesome magic tricks with LMS websites. We can answer any pre-sales questions you have, any Hangout questions. Hop in to say hey. Any platform you see us on: Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitch. Leave us a comment, and we'd be happy to dive into any questions or interests you have around LMS. Let's kick off some music too.
Oh, you mean the music in the thing?
Yeah. That's not better than the space. There we go. I'm having to log into all my stuff again on this new computer. It's not
What kind of new computer did you get?
When I say new computer, I mean like this isn't a new computer. This is just a computer I haven't logged into in 6 months. That kind of new computer. So it's like a new interface for me. I've got the 1080p camera. Highlights all the pores on my face. That's one of the features. And Kurt's kicking it off with some yard work or something going on. We're grinding up the cement in the driveway.
So they literally just started a jackhammer in front of my house just now. That's worse than a weed whacker, man.
Right? They knew
Hold
you were
on.
shooting.
I got to make this official now. Oh yeah, stripping down to the LifterLMS goodness. John Tenieto, how are you? I'm going to switch to headphones, Will, because I couldn't even hear you when you were talking, man. You might have heard me, but I couldn't hear you. That was really rude what just happened right there.
Oh, with the jackhammer?
All right.
Well, welcome, John, and everyone else to the call. Feel free to let us know any LifterLMS questions you have, WordPress getting started. We could talk about associated tools. We get into all kinds of topics on this call around tech strategy and just hanging out. So let us know in the chat, wherever you see us, any questions you have, and we'd be happy to dive in. We can share our screens and demo any products. And we'll be here for the next hour, and we'll also be live for an hour tomorrow. If anyone checking out the stream wants to catch us, it's going to be at 9 a.m. Pacific time tomorrow for 1 hour. So we'll be here for an hour, and then 9 a.m. Pacific time Friday. So yeah, we'll wait for some questions to roll in the chat. I'm going to send out an email to our users on the email list, and then I'll throw up some questions in the chat too from the last week.
Yeah, and I think I'm going to go check out the Facebook page, and I can answer via chat through the Facebook page and say hi to folks as they sign in with us.
Sounds good.
I always get blown away when I sign into Facebook, and Facebook's like, here's your memory from 4 years ago, or here's your memory from 6 years ago. And I'm like, holy crap, I was doing a live on that day too?
Have you ever considered doing those videos where you talk to yourself like 3 years from now? It's sort of like an interview with your future self.
I should totally do that. Hey, Kurt, what do you think the future is going to be after this pandemic?
Let's make sure my live stream link works. It does. All right, so I'll send out this email blast and then start putting up some questions here in the chat. Cool. Campaign. All right, so I'm going to sign into the LifterLMS YouTube account, see if we have any comments from the last week here. Comments. Let's dive into this one. This is kind of a longer question. I'll put it here in the YouTube chat. I might have to highlight it here in a couple of parts. See how many comments. Four comments. Wow. Okay, so is the assignments area of reporting where we're struggling with accumulating a list as we need new courses annually? The search function under assignments doesn't allow a filter on a course name or to isolate those assignments that are waiting after review. What are the options to enhance the filter capability within reporting assignments and quizzes? Does it require going after a codable resource, or is there a technical constraint and essential that we're able to manage the relevant current actions that are needed, not able to manually read through the entire list of classes? So it sounds like this is a website that has a lot of assignments on it or quizzes. in the LifterLMS reporting area, whenever a student submits one of the advanced quizzes or an assignment, it triggers an email to go out to the instructor of that course that will notify them with a link to grade the assignment, that there is an assignment available to grade. Same thing with an advanced quiz. I don't think the filtering in the back end of the LifterLMS reporting area for assignments allows for splitting things up in the way that this user wants to. I could pull up a demo site and kind of talk through what I'm seeing. Let's see here. Try to find one of my demo sites that has a lot of content on it. Nope, that one has nothing. Let's see. There's one that probably has a lot. I'll share my screen here. Plugins. Let's delete some of these. I'll throw on the LifterLMS assignments add-on, and then we'll take a look at this. So share screen.
Sometimes when people ask these long format questions, I actually get lost in the wording, because assignments is like quizzes. You can export the whole list of assignments and look at it in a CSV. So I'm not exactly sure what they're specifically looking for. Can you explain the question better? Because I'm kind of confused myself.
Yeah. So in the assignments area of reporting, we're struggling with accumulating lists as we add new courses. The search function under assignments does not allow a filter on a course name. So they want to look at like assignments on a course specific level is what I'm seeing.
Yeah, because you can only filter by the title and not by course, lesson, or awaiting review.
Yeah. So I gotta log into LifterLMS to get my download. Man, logging into everything today. It's secure. It's more secure for me to have things this way, but then every time I turn on a computer I haven't logged into for a while, I have to log into every platform. There we go. Let's go to my account. Download the assignments. We'll just upload that here.
Look at you go, man. Look at you go.
There we go. And I'll make my screen a little bit larger. I'm pretty zoomed out on this larger screen here. So if we take a look at the assignments interface here, I don't have any created yet. If I hop over to a course, open up my builder, expand and add an assignment. We'll just have this one be an essay assignment. So the assignments list includes just all of our assignments. It's not really filterable by course or lesson. It does say what course and lesson the assignment is on and whether it's awaiting review. These just aren't filterable. So I'd imagine the answer to this question, the user highlighted Codable as a possible solution, and I think that would probably be my recommendation, is checking out Codable. LifterLMS.com/experts. You'll find a link to Codable. You'll find a link to a lot of other custom developers who do a lot of work with LifterLMS. So that's my top recommendation for creating a filter for this area. I can also add it to our feature request board. See if we can add filters to assignments. I have to log into Trello. There we go. Log in. Yeah, I'll put that on our feature request board here in the background, but I think Codable is probably the solution here. I guess, Kurt, have you ever dealt with websites from clients or users that have like a ton of assignments and quizzes like this, and they're looking for some sort of a method to make it easier to segment through?
Yeah, and unfortunately, I think it's because I'm old. I went with a different avenue. Don't get me wrong. I love tech. Obviously, I wouldn't be doing what I do for a living if I didn't like tech. But when I looked at the Lifter LMS reporting in my sample site, I've got a fair selection of assignments, right, as samples in here. And to the questions point, I can sort by title, but I can't sort by course, lesson, awaiting review, or total attempts, right? Like the only thing I really can focus that I don't think I can really focus on is ID and title. So I see that, but then I can also export the list. So while you were getting ready to do your screen share, I went ahead and exported the list, and I dropped it into Google Docs so I could just show it on the screen share. Usually I look at this in Excel, but if I'm looking at this in Excel, I can sort any of the columns I want by any parameters. The biggest concern with doing it old school is just the ease of use, right? Because how cool would it be? Pardon me, go back to here. What you really want is you want to be able to click on something and take care of it. Like if it's waiting a review or you want to look at it, you want to click on it and see it. Whereas if it's in if you're going to a third party, Microsoft Excel, Google Drive, something like that, it's adding that other dimension. So I can see that's a pretty smart feature request actually. If we could make that sortable and make everything clickable right through the reporting page, that would be ease of use and reducing friction. So I think that's a good request.
Yeah.
But like I said, for the customers that I've had in the past, it's been hey, all of these reports are exportable. You can export them as a CSV file, manipulate the data that you need, and then get back to the task at hand.
For sure. I added this screenshot to the Trello board. There was already a feature request here for filtering assignments by course and reporting, so I just added a screenshot over there and a little bit more of a description.
Yeah, we had if I remember correctly, we had a support request. It was like 5 or 6 months ago. Somebody was pretty adamant that they thought that the quizzing should have been more searchable or more granular in the level of reporting in quizzing. And quizzing is similar in that you can do by title, but it doesn't filter by course, lesson, or anything like that. You would have to again export the CSV file to have full range of data on a screen and sort it column by column.
Right, so within the CSV file. And then in this case, it looks like they're looking for assignments to grade rather than just like a list of assignments as a report.
Yeah, so if you did that in a CSV file, you would sort it by course, and then your secondary sorting would be awaiting review.
Yeah. Let's see. So I'm going to reply here to that YouTube comment.
Look at that. Tech for Home Kit. Back again. I think he's going for the new Perfect Attendance Award. Good stuff.
All right.
I had one that came up on the Facebook page, and I didn't answer it. Came up yesterday sometime, and then so someone had said, is there an easy way to combine multiple courses into one large course? Perhaps exporting and combining and then importing back.
So they're trying to take a bunch of courses and just build them into
one course. Yeah. And I know that we can, I don't want to over confuse people, so maybe it's almost like I always need to show it. If I go into courses, this is what's cool about doing these things live, Will. We can actually, look at stuff. Right. But if I go into our course builder, and this one is for the embedding video course, and let's say I want to add a section to this. So I can add a section, and we can say, combined with, just so we know what we're doing here, combined with, boom, and we pick something. In here we can add the lessons, right? But you can add an existing lesson, and then when I search for existing lessons, I think crypto is one of our courses in here, right?
Yeah.
So add a quiz, add a course image, add a course description, add lesson content, and you can put that stuff in. That's the way that I see, like, kind of like easily adding. Sorry, I'm clicking things like crazy now, but that's like the way that I see easily combining things. But to be able to like export the whole course and kind of like smash it together with another course and then dump it back in, I don't think that's a thing.
Yeah, I think your solution there is probably the best one. Every other solution is going to be more complicated than that. So yeah, it would be like it's way more complicated than a migration to do that, because you're not just moving a course from one place to another, you're like combining the structure. So that's like, I think your way there of just manually doing it by adding an existing lesson is probably the best way to go for that question. So I don't know if you want to.
I'm answering it in Facebook right now.
Cool. And I'll answer Anne's question here in chat. Hi, how can I download all certificates for a course in bulk? Interesting. That's not a question I've heard before. Let's take a look at screen share. I'll pull up my other window I have open here. So this is my demo site, engagements, awarded certificates. I don't know if there's going to be a great way for us to download all of these, but let's take a look at creating a certificate template, and I'll award a few of them, and I'll take a look at the WordPress default export method and see if there's any other plugins we might be able to use. So this is going to be my certificate template to export. We'll just publish a template. I don't really need much content in there. So now that I have a template, I'm going to award a couple of them so I have a few to work with. So that's me. Here's my certificate template. We're going to create a draft. That looks good enough. So then let's hop out and create another one so that we can recreate the bulk setup. Create a draft. Call it test 2. All right, so we have 2 of these awarded certificates, and I'm assuming we're working with awarded certificates. If a bunch of students in a class completed a course and then they all get a bunch of certificates, they'll populate here under engagements, awarded certificates based on the template. And of course, what we just saw me do was manually award 2 certificates to myself. And usually it would be via an engagement that would trigger the certificate to be awarded. So if we imagine that there was an award certificate engagement created, that would also put certificates here in the awarded certificates area. So there's not actually like an export option from here. WordPress does include, though, an export tool under Tools Export. So I've never exported certificates, but let's see what happens when I do. Open this up. Let's see. There's an XML file it gives me. That's not super useful. Can we maybe convert XML to CSV? So WordPress is going to be generating export XML files for me. I'm just going to convert this here in a new tab. Let's see if this works. So I've got an XML with my certificates. And then I want to choose the output options, convert XML to CSV.
And just for everybody else's edification watching this, you're not seeing the pop-up screen with the selections he has because it's in a different window.
Yeah, I'm trying to close out of an application on my computer. It keeps popping up, man. Let's save this thing to the disk. See if that gives me a CSV I can work with. Perfect. So I'll share this thing if it looks good.
If it looks bad, we'll keep it a secret.
If it looks bad, we'll try to find another solution to see how we can do this. Oh my gosh. All the applications on my computer are like, hey, let's update. How about now? And it's like, no. Okay, this isn't too bad. The columns are super tall, but let me share my CSV file that I was able to generate. it tells me a lot of information here, and I can't scroll sideways as easily on this computer. Let me make sure it has the information we need. So it has like the student name, anonymous background, publish. It generates me a lot of information. And the challenge here is that it does format it as WordPress blocks. Let me share my screen, and we might need to take a look at a different way to do this. Window, numbers, this, pop up. I don't know if it's not doing it. It is not showing the numbers thing. Numbers? Maybe it's not working. So it doesn't look too great. It basically formatted those WordPress blocks, including everything in my certificates, into a CSV file. So it has like the name of the certificate and everything all in there. But why can't I show this thing? Share screen, window, numbers. Yeah, it looks like it's not going to allow me to show numbers. That's weird. But it's kind of strange how this formatted. It's not like what I assume you're looking for is a download, like a folder or a zip file that contains all of the certificates as PDFs or something like that, and that's not what this generates as an XML export. I wonder if there's any other way to like bulk export these in a method that would work. Yeah, I don't think that's really an option to download in bulk out of the box or with WordPress here. Because like printing out post types like pages, so I guess certificate templates are post types in WordPress, just like a page or a post or a lesson. They're just types of posts. And so bulk exporting the visual side of a post isn't something that I think is directly possible. I'm trying to just rack my brain and see if there's any like indirect ways we might be able to do something like that.
Oh, dude, there might be a there's a in the WordPress repository there's a plugin. I used it before, and you could export all of your blog posts as Word documents to like make like a to make an ebook out of them or something if that's what you wanted to do. So there might be a third-party plugin that would allow you to because it's just another post type. So there's probably a plugin in the repository that would allow you to export that post type as a Word document, maybe not a PDF, or maybe there's a different one for PDFs.
Right.
But the danger with that, whenever you and I have these conversations, and it's cool to problem solve on live like this, but like we always need to say or type, it's not a direct referral, experiment and try at your own peril. This is not a direct recommendation from LifterLMS. This is just a problem solving session and a possible answer.
Right. Right. Print my blog makes WordPress content useful outside of your website by quick printing thousands of posts in a few clicks. I don't know. Let's try that.
So just for giggles, I used a tool similar to this when Mañana No Mas was more like a travel blog. When I worked for Ducati and I went to Italy a bunch of times, I made a ton of blog posts about my travels, and I exported a bunch into an ebook for a friend.
Nice. So this sounds like it's going to generate me docs files, not PDFs, but we'll see what my options are. I've never used this thing.
Yeah, some of the formatting got weird on me, like the featured images ended up in weird places and things like that.
So is this gonna? Let's see how this works on blog posts. It's not a quick print. I think it's only looking for posts, like.
Yeah, you can't pick a custom post type like a certificate.
Right. Yeah, so it looks like the free version lets me do posts and pages, and then for custom post types, I'd have to buy the pro thing. You can see what it looks like for posts. Hello world, we do have a post. Digital PDF for posts, old is first, status published, categories. So really we don't need any of this stuff. We would just want the content. I'll see what this does. Wow. It's a screen. This looks like some sort of a... Oh, okay.
Yeah, the only post you had was "Hello World."
Right. So this is kind of close. This is a weird interface. Yeah. And there we go. So that might be some kind of an option. If we had a bunch of these, let's jump back and see what happens if I have a few of these. Oh, I should put content in here.
And just to point it out, Anne, it's awesome that you appreciate the support, but we do this every week, and we actually really enjoy it. We have a good time with this. It's awesome when people bring a question to us and make us think something out.
So I think this is probably going to be the way to go, is checking out a product like this. I'm not sure what their pricing page entails for all that kind of stuff with custom post types and PDFs. It's really just printing this as a list, right? So there's my Hello World, the LifterLMS sandbox. So something like this would probably be worth pursuing. It's going to print all of the posts in a single list like this. But so yeah, my recommendation for that would be to check out whatever this is and give it a try. Let's see their pricing page. They have it right in the back of WordPress. Check out if they have like a nice refund policy, like a 30-day refund policy, 2-week refund policy. Because if this thing can support custom post types, it might work for LifterLMS certificate printing, like it does for blog posts. So it appears that will work for blog posts for printing custom post types. But I'd check out the refund policy and try that one out for certificates, because we're looking for awarded certificates, and posts and pages are our only options with the free version.
Yeah, I think that it might be viable. The thing I ran into was like, when did it insert page breaks and things like that? Because I was thinking of it in terms of people being able to print content as well. So I wanted the page breaks in the right spot, and certificates would be a similar thing, right? Like you don't want the certificate to be in the middle of a page break and get half a certificate and half a certificate, and if that's your goal. I kind of picture someone saying, like, if someone says, I need to download this grip of PDFs, well, there's got to be a reason they want a group of PDFs, right? They want to do something with it. And so if that was to print them out in bulk and then give them out at a giant assembly somewhere, you'd want to make sure that they were printed one per page.
Right, and I think that one was doing one post per page. Like it was doing a page break after every post.
Yeah, that's sweet.
And yeah, I think the only other way to do it would be to like have a custom developer write a program that would read every post and just print it out. So I think that would be a faster solution if that one would work. But awesome. Let's jump to this comment. That was an interesting one that came up on our YouTube channel. I'll post it and then share it on the screen. YouTube breaks it into 2 comments. I'm working on a CE course package for nurses, but there's no information out there regarding the topic. Mandatory continuing education for professionals is not lucrative. Is it not lucrative? I'm sure big teaching companies do very well. Have you seen much success from solo entrepreneurs, and is it worth it? That's a good strategy question about continuing education and is it worth it to pursue or not. I think what I've heard from people who I've worked with who do continuing education courses is that getting your content approved by organizations, local, state, federal, whatever organizations are going to be endorsing your content for continuing education. If you can get in touch with these boards for doctors, nurses, teachers, whoever is the authority, and if they need content for continuing education or they're open to promoting continuing education platforms, that's a really great opportunity for creating content, because they'll work on marketing your content in their portfolio to their nurses or whoever. So it's already like a lot of top of the funnel work regarding marketing and sales is already done for you by these boards. The challenge is just going through the bureaucracy of getting your content approved and making sure the LMS platform you're setting up on allows the requirements that board has for continuing education to be met. Like LifterLMS offers advanced videos, which can require students to watch entire videos. So if there's like 8 hours of required training, you could have 8 1-hour videos or just a bunch of videos that are required to watch in order to pass, along with quizzes or whatever content you need in order to ensure that the student was on there for at least 8 hours. And that's one thing I've seen in continuing education that makes the sites kind of come together, is the required watch time for many of those boards. But I'd pass it over to you, Kurt. Do you have any ideas for continuing education? Is it worth it, and how to get started with that?
I have a more cynical opinion. When someone says it's not lucrative, or I'm struggling with this or struggling with that, it's because they're putting the cart before the horse. Like, you need those relationships, and you need to have a direction, and you need to know where you're going to sell your content before you invest in making your content. Because a lot of, and I'm just going to say this, I'm going to, just because I can. I've worked with a lot of folks making continuing education courses that have not a clue on how to make continuing education courses, but for some reason, they have the relationship that put them into the environment that allows them to sell that product. And then I've helped them make the product, and they've turned around and made it very, very lucrative. Once you get your accreditation, and once you get the attention of the different entities that have to pay or license that material, sky's the limit. I've seen people make a killing on that kind of stuff. So, but you have to have the arrangements in place first. I wouldn't spend any energy, or I might have a proof of concept done as a, hey, here's a sample of what we could build for you if you let us run with this content. But I wouldn't build anything super impressive or time consuming until I had the relationship in place and knew the revenue was forthcoming. That sounds horrible, right? But that's like I did a thing for a guy that literally has a bartending school, and you think to yourself, well, how are you going to make money teaching people how to bartend? Like, because I could get a job at a bar and learn how to bartend. But no, it turns out like some states have continuing education credits and certificates that are required to legally work at certain size restaurants, bars, all that kind of stuff. And so because this person got their curriculum approved and then linked to a few states, they are the go-to facilitator for that information. And they're only charging, I think, $25 or $40 per person. But when you think of the thousands of people that are getting referred through that state, it turns into a rather lucrative adventure.
Absolutely.
And for my part, I'm just the guy that connected the API on the back end. I didn't make barely anything.
Change your password. Okay, so I'm logging into h5p.org. I think
they had new releases today.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Nice, like new content types.
New added elements, image libraries, and options added to existing features, their most popular features. I got an email from them today.
Nice.
Let me see if I can find that. You can talk about whatever you were talking about, and I'll see if I can't find that.
Yeah, one popular way to do continuing education content is with tools like H5P. I'm looking at StreamYard and realizing that my screen looks really small. Zoom in. So H5P is a multimedia style. I mean, it's almost like an authoring tool. It's like a light version of an authoring tool where you can put together little content types like crossword puzzles, interactive videos, presentations, crosswords, arithmetic quizzes, really all kinds of items. We talk a lot in LifterLMS and WordPress about things that can be embedded natively in WordPress, like videos, PDFs, images, text. Those are all things that the WordPress block editor supports as media formats. But this really opens the door to be able to support more types of media. 9 times 8. I don't know this. Okay. I'm not caught up on my Rocket Map, but this is like a really cool tool. It's making
20.
Oh yeah, 5. But it sort of allows for some more advanced interaction, and this
14.
Is not the continuing education type stuff that you're going to be working with in your site.
24.
But you see how this might work for your example. So if we're talking about continuing education, I guess multiplication might not be the best example for continuing education. What would be something continuing education would use for nurses? They might use, I've seen interpreting courses leveraging the dictation one. I mean, dialogue cards. That would make sense for continuing education with nurses. Like, what are the different content, like different ways to interact in certain environments? Like, flashcards can be a solid method for that. This is a language learning flashcard, but you could imagine, like, what would be an example of, like, what should you do in this circumstance regarding nurses? Like, a patient is, I don't know, bleeding out or unresponsive. What do we do? And we have the flashcards to, like, explain the situation and then explain what you should do on the back. And that might be an example in nursing. So you could put together a few flashcards or something like that in the H5P tool, throw it into a LifterLMS dollar trial. So before you even invest in creating a platform, you can buy the LifterLMS $1 demo for 30 days where we host a site for you. And you can kind of put together a demo for your training organization boards. And if they like the content and the direction you're going in, you could then expand from there and build out some real content on your platform if those boards are looking for continuing education and willing to promote your platform.
The interactive video is a big one in H5P also, because you create that interactivity with asking true-false questions, or identify the proper syringe for this use case, and then click here to go this way, click here to go that way, and then with the interactive video, that also helps you fulfill the required time spent on a lesson. So if that interactive video is 14 minutes, that you've got at least 14 minutes invested in the taking of that lesson. So there's all kinds of things there. On the H5P stuff, this was the email that I had gotten from them, and it says, image choice and interactive videos, interactive blocks, course presentations, all of this stuff has vast improvements for this month. It was all part of their new releases in H5P. I signed up with them when I did the blog post for LifterLMS, and so every time they make an update, I kind of just get myself up to speed on what it is they're doing. So this one's like the interactive video. It's really cool, the stuff that they do. And they tell you right in their thing, like what's next, what their roadmap is, how to vote their features up in the line, similar to what we do with our Trello board. So it's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's super awesome. H5P is a great resource for creating advanced content. That's pretty easily embeddable in WordPress. They give you iframes, and you could just drop them into WordPress. And then for advanced tracking, that's where you'd want to check out Kurt's content around APIs and Grassblade. So if you're interested in more of that advanced e-learning content, integrating with requirements, like for continuing education, they're required to take certain content. That's where you'd use an LRS Grassblade setup. It's a little more advanced than what we usually get into on this call, but we do have some content coming out around that in the near future. So stay tuned for integrating that advanced content into Lifter via our blog. So this is a question that popped up. Is there any video demo for the advanced quizzes? Does it say advanced quizzes? Absolutely. Let me find the YouTube playlist that I had made a long time ago. Let's see. I have a 20-minute tour of advanced quizzes, and I also made a course about this. So I thought there was, it might just be the 20-minute video. I probably go through every question type in this video, but there's a link to the YouTube video with a tour of advanced quizzes. We also have a course, a free course, on our academy.lifterlms.com site. I'll share my window here. Share the Academy. So there's a course as well over here, Browse Courses, LifterLMS Quiz System Masterclass. This is a course where I dive into all of the individual question types. These are the fill in the blank question type reorder items, just quick 2-3 minute videos on each individual question type. You can enroll for free in that course. Just email, first name, and you can take that course on our Academy site. Check out some of those advanced quiz question types.
So we never talk about this, or I'm not going to say never. Never is a bad word, but I don't think we talk about it enough. I mean, well, we're online, doing this live thing every week. Seems like we're here for, a couple hours a week doing stuff.
Yeah.
And then we have the free courses. We have the dollar demo site. We have the freemium version, right? You can download LifterLMS, the core version, for free, build your own lessons and courses. I don't know, like, if you were to think, like, well, what else could we do to help introduce people to, online course building or being a course creator? I think we pretty much got it nailed. The hard part is letting everybody know everything that's available.
Right. It's great when we create content and questions seem to go away. I was talking to Chris, I think yesterday, when he said the question around course cohorts is one that frequently pops up, and he actually made a video a year ago that answers the question, how do I do cohort courses with LifterLMS out of the box? And that reduced the questions that I've seen around cohorts. And then also there's the Aspen Grove Studios product. But the video sort of answered a lot of those questions preemptively. So that's really cool. And having the resources to link to is important. So that's what I usually use is Google to find LifterLMS solutions. Even searching our documentation, searching our blogs, searching the podcasts, I just look up in Google LifterLMS, how to do cohorts, and then I'll just find content there.
Yeah, and one of the things I want to point out about the Academy is, even if you don't necessarily need to take that content, like about how WordPress works or how to make the course, it's good to see a working, premium example of how to build a course. A lot of the clients that I talk to in my agency, they have a great idea, they have a great concept, or they have great product knowledge about whatever it is they want to make their content about, but they don't understand the ideas of curriculum development and lessons that are 3 to 5 minutes long, and the different learning types that people have, visual, auditory, tactile, all those kinds of things. And so if you have questions about how to actually become an effective course creator, sometimes diving into a free example like the LifterLMS Academy is a great place to get a sample.
Absolutely.
And I almost forget this too. When you go to install LifterLMS, you're going to go through the installation wizard. And one of the last steps in the installation wizard is you can install a
welcome back
course template. You can install a course template, or you can install sample courses.
Right. And that's like the quick start course. That's installed automatically. And there's a few other course templates you can download that give you a good idea of, like, how do I build my sales page, or how do I build in, I think it's the quick start course sales page, and then a free template lead magnet. So how do we build a free course that's a lead magnet to get people into our paid courses or interested in our ecosystem? We talk about that a lot with people creating online course websites. I think regarding that question earlier, with creating a continuing education site for nurses, one possible course to create as a lead magnet would be, what is the best place to get continuing education as a nurse? If you were to try to create a free course about that links to some other resources that already exist in the community, that's sort of an avenue to see if you can tap the market and see if there's demand. Because if you see people enrolling in this free course lead magnet, that might just be a 5-lesson course, a 3 to 5 lesson course that helps these nurses who are looking for continuing education where they can get the most entertaining, frictionless continuing education experience. And then you can create curriculum on top of that and say, hey, we also offer courses, assuming there's a lot of demand for that, and then work on getting approval through boards as just a method of testing the market with a free course lead magnet. And that's a pretty low commitment to curate some resources that already exist and create a lead magnet to see if there's a demand in the market. That's just another avenue to go. And I think that's more of a traditional approach. When you're doing continuing education, you do have those other opportunities regarding the board doing sales and marketing for you, the boards that approve your content. But if it's a situation where you would still have to market your own content, figuring out how to test the demand, creating a YouTube channel, whatever forums and avenues you're working with, it's a good way to test things with a free course lead magnet. And so you can get that template when you install the LifterLMS core plugin. Awesome. So we have about 10 minutes left here on the call. We had a question come in chat from Jim. Hey, all. Sorry for being late. No problem. We'll be here for about another 10 minutes, as well as another hour tomorrow, 9 a.m. Pacific time. But this question is, I'm looking for an LMS that will be able to handle SCORM courses created in Articulate. Does LifterLMS handle SCORM? Well, I think you're in luck, Jim. Kurt is here on the call, and Kurt has been writing some excellent content for LifterLMS around GrassBlade SCORM and how you can make everything work with LifterLMS plus SCORM. So I guess, Kurt, do you think you could give us a rundown about what LifterLMS and SCORM looks like and how that relationship works in WordPress?
Yeah. In fact, I think I still have this content in my demo site, which is kind of cool. So, Jim, you're not alone. I have a corporate background in training, and I was kind of forced into custom LMS usage and using Articulate. I used Articulate Storyline 2 because my company didn't want to pay for the Articulate 365. So I'm sure you're familiar with all the things I'm saying, right? So it came down to licensing, $3,000 per person. The custom LMS was a couple $100,000 to build, and then it was thousands of dollars a year to host. And so I was looking for an option to take SCORM off of the custom LMS and put it into a WordPress environment. And LifterLMS allows you to do that. So I'm going to do a quick screen share. This is my little demo site that I use when I'm doing these lives. And if you look at the back of my site, I installed a plugin called XAPI Companion. XAPI Companion is a free extension that allows you to connect to GrassBlade. And GrassBlade is kind of that third-party tool that allows you to put SCORM material into your site. Now that means I've got GrassBlade installed as well, right down here. So I've got GrassBlade. So if we go into GrassBlade settings, you'll see that I've got the GrassBlade set up. I'm attached to their LRS for some testing purposes. I've got some content settings. So how big do I want my player to be? These are all things that you're probably used to seeing in your custom LMS as far as like, do you want the big window? Do you want the little window? Do you want the, what do they call those things? The light box. The light box when it pops up separate off the page. You have all those features that are available to do. And then when you want to add your content, you go into XAPI and you add your content. Now, for the purpose of doing this, let's, I think I've still got a sample in my hard drive. Let's take a look. Let's say that I want to add new. When I go to add new, this is, I'm going to say here, sample for Tim. Sample for Tim. Okay. And
Jim?
then what's that?
Oh, it's Jim.
Oh, Jim. Oh my goodness. All right. Well, I don't want to do that. So there we go. Sample for Jim. And then in here is just like any other blog post or page is any kind of content that I want to put around my SCORM package that complements my SCORM package. Okay. So that goes there. And then what I want to do is I want to select my zip file, which is my SCORM package. So I've got a file, I believe I got off of scorm.com or scorm.org. Takes just a second to fire up. I'll go find that. LifterLMS, SCORM, and content package. I think this one might be it. And so you'll see this line here turns green as it goes across, right? So this imported the SCORM package and processed it already. It gave me this little GrassBlade shortcode. I can put that shortcode anywhere in my website and it will display that content. Do I want to display it in the page or on its own lightbox? You can pick what you want to do there. I'll say in page for this one. Completion tracking is if you have a learning record store attached to the website like GrassBlade LRS, you can store the testing and quizzing results through the SCORM package and then have it sync with your LifterLMS reporting. I don't have that attached to this website currently. But right here, I want to check to show the content on this page. And then what I'll do is I'll publish this piece of SCORM content. And we see that everything says it's finished. If I click View XAPI Content, it takes me out to where golf is. And, oh, it's not implemented yet. What did I do? I did something wrong. I might have that wrong file. Let me go back. I probably put in the wrong XAPI file. If we go to this one, hey, I wonder what I did wrong. Edit XAPI content. I got to find it now. Let's go to edit. I wonder if I deleted it because I was done making that blog post. We have content, done. Grassblade, content package, SCORM, activity, video, in page. I'm going to try in Lightbox. Check, update. I'm going to update there. That's weird, Will. I'm not seeing it. I'm going to have to troubleshoot it.
Is it, if you scroll down a little bit, isn't it a little further below your content? Oh, no, that's the...
Oh, well, there's a launch button here. But it says not implemented yet. That's the same code I just got from the other one.
For launchable courses. Yeah, I don't know what this error message is. I don't work with SCORM very much. But...
So whenever you have an error that comes up like that, remember that articulate is JavaScript. And so we probably have a JavaScript error somewhere. So I'm going to try a different one. I'll do try and add new, see if I can find a different SCORM sample. And choose a file. Content packaging, single. What's this one? Yeah, okay. Preview, in page, check to show, update, publish. Says it's done.
There we go. How's that?
It's coming. But yeah, there's still usually comes up a lot faster than that. But then this allows you to play the whole course inside one window instead of having like multiple lesson windows that come up.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things that people like. Now this is playing it in the page and not playing it in the Lightbox. So if you said Lightbox, it would open up another, one of those fake windows on top of a window. And then you go through this. But yeah, that's the basics of how you connect SCORM to your website. And so, like I said, I'm looking at an example. I don't know why I'm on there. I'm looking at an example of, I came off of an environment that was hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars per year to be able to run an e-learning site with SCORM material. And then when you look at that budget compared to, a couple $100 for an LRS, $100 or so for Grassblade, and then you're hosting in a LifterLMS package, that's a whole different world.
Yeah, and when you're working within WordPress and LifterLMS and Grassblade, there is that piece of an LRS that's important to highlight. That with the demo we saw on screen there, it wouldn't include reporting. So it's basically like a video that's on the page. We don't really know whether the user watched the video or not, or really looked at the content or not. And so that's where the LRS would come in addition to the Grassblade XAPI, so it's tracking from one place to the other. So the LRS is an important piece if you require tracking on the content.
Yeah, the LRS part is interesting to me. So people that work with SCORM and these LRS packages will understand what I'm talking about. But like the LRS is off your site, like it's off, right? And so someone completes the section in the SCORM package on your site, and then if they don't go back to their account page or hit refresh, they might not see the completed results of that SCORM package that they just have done. So from a user perspective, sometimes it's more advantageous to use that lightbox feature, because the lightbox feature will shut down and then somebody will hit the back button or go back to the main course page, and that kind of refreshes that content. So it goes right to reporting that way. We had that one that I worked on where it was a sutures course in the medical industry. And the other thing that came up was there's items that you select in the options. So a student must complete the SCORM package in order to complete the lesson, right? And so what happens is people get to this close to the end of the SCORM package and they think they're done. They click out of it and then they can't click mark complete, right? And so you kind of have to set your SCORM package to be unable to close until completed to mark complete. You know what I mean? So it's a lot of times when I have to fix somebody's SCORM site, it's usually a conflict in settings. Like I'll go through the grass blade settings and I'll go through the XAPI settings and I'll go through the SCORM package settings. And you'll see that whoever designed the SCORM package, because it's usually different people, in a corporate setting, there's someone that's an instructional designer, and then there's someone that's in charge of the LMS. And so there's these things. And since you have different people working in different regards, sometimes they'll have settings that contradict each other, and that can cause some user interface problems or friction in your site. So it's really good to go through that. And then, like I said, when you get errors, like I just had an error on that thing I uploaded, generally that's a JavaScript error that's coming from the articulate package, not a problem within your website.
Right. And we are at about the hour now, so we'll have to wrap it up. But we had a couple questions. What is your site, Kurt? I don't know if that's a forward-facing site. That's more of a site that we use to build the content.
Yeah, and it's not going to stay up long. That one's coming down soon. It's getting glitchy.
Yeah, and because we use a demo site environment where we can spin up these WordPress websites really quickly, and they it's for our dollar demos, and we use them internally as well. And over time, they get kind of buggy. But yeah, so there was a question, where can I learn more? I think the best place to learn more is the link we had put in chat here on YouTube. Upload SCORM content to LifterLMS. If you type that phrase into Google or click the link in the YouTube comments, upload SCORM to Lifter, you'll see Kurt's blog post there. And there's also another blog post about H5P content, but there will be another one coming out hopefully here in the next 2 weeks around actually integrating with the LRS fully. But this upload SCORM content blog post that is live now covers what Kurt was just talking about with creating that content inside of WordPress, or uploading it to WordPress and playing it within WordPress. That's like step one. And then step two is that LRS component if you want the recording.
And then, Jim, there's no harm in reaching out to me directly. If you want to hit me up through our Facebook page, hit me up on Facebook. I only check Facebook 2 or 3 times a week, but I'm on LinkedIn all the time. I'm the only Kurt Von Ahnen on LinkedIn, so I'm easy to find. And yeah, if if it's a quick conversation, that's gratis, man. That's on the house. But if you need real work, we can talk about that too.
Sounds great. Well, thanks everyone who joined us on the call today. We will be live again tomorrow at 9 a.m. Pacific time. Make sure to join us if you have any other questions. It's Will Middleton and Kurt Von Ahnen from LifterLMS signing out, and we'll see you on the next one.